this morning, drug testing company Regeneron just announced it'll require 23andMe for $256 million. South San Francisco-based 23andMe filed for bankruptcy in March of this year following plummeting profits. Regeneron said all of 23andMe's DNA services will continue. The pharmaceutical will acquire all of 23andMe's assets, including their personal genome service and their biobank of customers' genetic samples. That sale is expected to close later this year.
This is the Nation's Conspire channel. Welcome to today's show. If you haven't heard this yet, it's very important that you know about this. Now, I know the majority of people who listen to my channel are not the types of people that would send willingly their DNA to places like Ancestry.com or 23andMe. But unfortunately, there are some people who were duped into this government operation because that's all that it ever was. And that's why they constantly were promoting all of these shows with all of these celebrities, telling you who they're related to, trying to make you want to find out who you were related to. But the reality of the matter is all these celebrities are related to one another and they're related to the same bloodlines, but it worked on so many people. And now that 23andMe filed for bankruptcy, guess what? A company called Regeneron has agreed to buy 23andMe. And do you know who this company is? This is a big pharma company that now has access to millions of people's DNA. And that's what it was about from the get-go. It's just being revealed to you now. When they were showing you all these clips, and I'll show you some of them if you need a good laugh, from Jeff Daniels and some of these other celebrities who are going on these shows and admitting to being related to witches or having family members who killed witches in the past, and they were getting support for all the witches out there, tearing up over the witches. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. How obvious it is what these people were trying to do, but it worked. They were trying to get you to send your DNA to the government. 23andMe was nothing more than a front for the government. And that's why they conveniently went from being worth billions of dollars, supposedly, to being bankrupt overnight. And you can look no further than the CEO who just resigned, Anne Wojcicki. Anne Wojcicki, does the name sound familiar? Because Anne Wojcicki's brother, was Susan Wojcicki, the former YouTube CEO, who removed billions of channels from the platform who were speaking truth, who were exposing evil, even channels that were trying to expose celebrities and their connection to the occult. Do you think it's a coincidence that Susan's so smart that somehow Susan became the YouTube CEO? And Anne was so bright that somehow Anne became the CEO of a billion-dollar company that was gaining access to civilians' DNA through lying to them, through deceiving them. And now, of course, all of it is out in the open. They've come out and they've admitted it. Guess what? Well, we sold all of your DNA. Somehow they have a right to sell your DNA because when you sent your DNA into 23andMe, you didn't read the fine print. You thought, hey, they're probably just going to throw it out. Why would they want my DNA? What types of things are they doing with your DNA? Well, one of the things they're doing is creating your digital twin. And other things that they're doing is they're planning on experimenting using your genetics through manipulation, of course, and deception by telling you that they're going to create personalized vaccines for people like you. Don't think for 1 second that the government themselves wouldn't take your DNA and actually frame you in a crime. I know that's out of the realm of possibility for some of these people out there who think that the government actually wouldn't do something like that. Now, there's people who say, well, they already have everybody's DNA. If you've ever gone and you've gotten blood work done, if you've ever gone to the doctor's office, they have access to your DNA. But this is a massive database that a big pharma company just obtained without the permission of the civilians, without the permission of these people who thought that they were just signing up for something. And now we're probably realizing, you know what? Is this a government operation? Because we're hearing about big pharma again. We just heard about big pharma for years and years and years and what big pharma was doing to people. Now big pharma has all of this access without anyone's permission. So the company is called Regeneron Pharmaceuticals. They announced they are acquiring substantially all of 23andMe's assets for $256 million. I'm surprised that it wasn't $666 million or $333 million, but the drug maker participated in a bankruptcy auction for 23andMe. Now, why doesn't anybody out there ask, why would a big pharma company want access to everybody's DNA? What do they care about everybody's DNA? Are they going to try to figure out if George Glass is actually a long-distance cousin of Queen Elizabeth? Or if George Glass might actually, after all, be related to John Doe? Is that what they care about? Well, of course, that's not what they care about. If you understand what they're trying to do with digital twins and what they're already doing with people's DNA who have willingly submitted their DNA, even after hearing warning after warning after warning from people like me to never submit your DNA to government agencies that were fronting as corporations. Because remember, all of these corporations, the American corporations, they're all the government. What do you think, that Tim Cook at Apple isn't a government agent? Elon Musk isn't a government agent? They're trying to get you to willingly buy and bring this technology into your home that they use to spy on you. They pretend that all of this stuff is just a company doing this, a company doing that. Oh, 23andMe wanted to be like Ancestry.com. And they really, really, really wanted to help you find out if deep down inside you really had 1% of Swedish in you. I mean, you're kidding me, right? But this is the stuff people fall for. And then they go, oh, well, you know what? I don't care if the government has access to those things, because they don't want to feel stupid about getting duped into stuff like this. We've heard the same thing from all the people out there who poison themselves, who still refuse to admit that they were wrong. How many people out there know somebody who went and got it, didn't listen to you? Still to this day, you know that they regret it because they have some type of ailment on the side that they didn't have before, but they refuse to connect the dots between the two. You know, some are blind in one eye and they're like, yeah, well, now these are the things that happen. There's no correlation between me poisoning myself a couple years ago and now the fact that I can't feel my, my right arm, or I can't see out of my left eye anymore, right? They refuse to admit it because of pride. We live in a very prideful society. So the drug maker participated in the bankruptcy auction for 23andMe, and once high-flying genetic testing company that filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in March, Regeneron is buying 23andMe's personal genome service, total health and research services, business lines, according to a release. We believe we can help 23andMe deliver and build upon its mission to help people learn about their own DNA and how to improve their personal health, because they're going to start transitioning you into all of this personal health, personalized vaccinations. Ooh, yes. And we'll also tell you who your great uncle is, who died in the year 1600, because you're supposedly supposed to give a crap about that. They don't care about that at all. This is about personalized vaccination. So they say that they're going to build upon the mission to help people learn about their DNA and their personal health while furthering Regeneron's efforts to improve the health and wellness of many. The company will not buy their telehealth subsidiary, which 23andMe had acquired for around $400 million in 2021. But the deal is subject to approval by the U.S. Bankruptcy Court for the Eastern District of Missouri. Pending approval, it's expected to close in the third quarter of this year. Does anybody want to ask the people who willingly participated in this if they would like some pharma company to have their DNA? And then when they look at it and they go, well, what are they doing with it? Well, you think they're doing good deeds with it? Do you think that they're really looking to see who you're related to with your genes? Yeah, no, not exactly. Not even close. I mean, Big Pharma is like the least trusted entity on earth, and they should be the least trusted entity on earth. And we all know what pharma stands for anyway: pharmaceutical, pharma magic, right? Alchemy and its connection to the occult as well. But they, of course, want you to think that all of that stuff is completely insane. So they say 23andMe rocketed into the mainstream because of its at-home DNA testing kits that gave customers insight into their family histories and genetic profiles. The 5-time CNBC Disruptor 50 company went public in 2021 via a merger with a special purpose acquisition company. At its peak, 23andMe was valued around $6 billion. So you think a company that goes public in 2021 that's worth $6 billion, 4 years later, literally has to file for bankruptcy. They go from $6 billion to being worth $200 million. I mean, I get it. Yeah, sure. Companies go out of business all the time, but they didn't even hesitate to say, hey, you know what? We're shutting the company down now, because guess what? The whole purpose and the front for this company was to get people to willingly give us their DNA. Now we have a huge, massive database with all of your DNA stored inside of it, right? And of course, the sheeple will just roll their eyes and they'll say that we're conspiracy theorists. They'll say digital twins and all the other crap that they're working on, personalized vaccinations, is all conspiracy, because they don't want to believe that the government has cruel intentions. But guess what? Their intentions are crueler than cruel. They're sicker than sick. These people are complete psychopaths. So just imagine, like I always say on this channel, just imagine your DNA, okay? You take your DNA test, and then somehow you find out that it's going to Jeffrey Dahmer or John Wayne Gacy or any other serial killer that you may have been told was a serial killer who was really a government agent anyway, because most of these serial killers are Manchurian cans. Or just imagine it's going to Freddy Krueger. Would you be thrilled about that? If I told you that? Would you be thrilled if Michael Myers is opening up his mailbox and your DNA actually goes to Michael Myers? I think you'd be pretty frightened then. You'd say, well, Michael Myers, maybe they're going to frame me. What's Michael Myers going to do with my DNA? Well, these people are sicker than sick. And all they do is reveal themselves to you every day, how sick they are. Take a look at Bill Gates every day and how he has this smile on his face while he's telling you he's giving all his money away, while he's going and meeting in Singapore and they're talking about mandating vaccines. And if you refuse, it's a federal crime. These people they're relentless. That's how sick they are. They won't even give up, because they're so sick and they want to see depopulation occur so badly that they honestly continue to roll themselves out, or at least pretend to roll themselves out right in front of us with a smile on their face. And then they say, we're trying to end poverty. We're giving all our money away to charity. We're going to suck carbon out of the air. We're not psychopaths at all. You just don't understand our science. And we want access to your DNA because we want to help you. We want to help you find out who you're related to from the 1500s. Maybe your great-great-great-great-grandfather was a pilgrim. Who cares? Well, apparently these people do. And you might say, why do people care? Well, I'll show you exactly why they care, because as I've always mentioned, all of these celebrities are not famous because they're great actors and very talented. They're trained in mind control. That's what they're trained in. In fact, they do their best acting when they're not in movies and television shows. They do their best acting when they're on talk shows, while they're lying to you about how they got into the business and telling you stories that they make up about their personal lives because they want you to think that they're normal like we are, that they come from the same type of background and they just achieved greatness while you never did. But the reality is that they're all government assets. Here's a clip. This is from Ancestry's show on PBS, where you could see just a couple of celebrities who have deep connections to witches.
Jeff, you're looking at 2 court records from the year 1692.
The examination and confession of Samuel Wardwell. Samuel Wardwell saith that at that time when the devil appeared and told him he was a prince of the air, and that the devil brought him the pen and ink.
You know why he would be testifying at this particular time?
Salem witch trials? Now the Salem witch trials are my fault. All right.
Jeff's ancestor testified against a man named Samuel Wardwell in what became known as the Salem witch trials. Was a self-professed fortune teller, and he fell victim to the hysteria that had gripped his fellow colonists.
That Mary Parker of Andover, before as after certain detestable arts called witchcraft and sorceries.
What do you guess was driving this?
I have no idea. No idea. So Mary Parker is practicing witchcraft and sorcery on his daughter and granddaughter.
That's right.
We're going to put a stop to that.
That's right. We're going to put her lights out. Mary Parker and Samuel Wardwell, along with 6 others, were hanged.
Great.
How do you think your 8th great-grandfather felt about his involvement in this?
Well, I would guess thrilled. Mm-hmm. Look what I did.
Got rid of the evil people?
Got rid of the evil people.
Maybe these other people really were witches, but I know Francis not, because he is my family.
Yep.
Remarkably, just like Jeff, Claire Danes had an ancestor at the Salem witch trials. But on the other side, named Margaret Scott was one of the defendants accused of crimes that make clear the full insanity of the proceedings.
One of my cattle was dead in the stall and stood up on his hind feet and kneeled on his knees afore.
Later, he discovered one of his cattle dead in its stall, standing on its hind legs. Pardon me,
A clear connection.
Another of his cattle was found dead with its neck under a plank, as if it had been choked to death. This, he believed, showed that your ninth great-grandmother was a witch.
I wish it felt more alien, I have to say, but I think that we're still vulnerable to these to this magical thinking.
Big time.
Yeah.
All told, 11 people testified against Margaret, almost all of them her neighbors. We can't say for certain what motivated them. Claire, one of those hanging bodies is a representation of your ninth great-grandmother.
We can be so awful to each other, right? It's
Inexcusable.
yeah. It's just amazing. We're capable of
anything.
of a lot.
Yeah.
In both directions. Well, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry that she had to leave the world in that way.
She alleged her innocence to the very end. Of course she was innocent. You know?
Yeah, oh, what a shame, right? They're involved in hurting somebody. And of course, at the end, with the smile on their faces, they were innocent, right? Oh, the witches were. You could have your own theory about who were really hung during the witch trials. Many believed that Christians were actually the ones hung, but just the way that they victimized the witches, right? And these are the people who are lying and deceiving you. And it's no surprise that everywhere you turn with these people, there's some connection to the occult, whether they're holding a 666 over their eye on a magazine cover or a collage where we see all these celebrities tell you that they love just the one eye symbolism because they're in the club and you're not. And they've been busy working you into willingly giving up your freedoms to them. And on top of that, willingly giving up your DNA when you don't have the slightest clue what they're actually doing with it. Congratulations to the celebrities who have manipulated our society. The fact that we even let these people walk around after everything they did in 2020 and 2021, where they were all posting pictures of themselves shooting themselves up in the arm, taking saline and then pretending like they were really getting it so they could influence you to go and do it. Or when they're doing things like this, going on these TV shows, knowing that they're manipulating you into sending your DNA to the government. It's utterly insane that these criminals continue to be praised and worshipped in our society. And still people out there, they'll hear someone like me, they'll be like, he's nuts. He's crazy. Oh, the deep state, the government wants your DNA. Oh, they're doing this. Oh, they're going to do these personalized vaccines. Oh, these guys are all nuts. And these are the same people that poison themselves. These same people that already sent their DNA into the government and still think because Jeff Daniels took a huge dump in Dumb and Dumber that he's a hero and we should all look up to him. He took a poop at Dumb and Dumber. He had Petey these people are wicked. They're sick. They're liars. They're manipulators. And they're all connected to the occult. So 23andMe didn't take long. I covered it when it happened a few months ago. Ann Wojcicki, of course, the connection with Ann Wojcicki and Susan Wojcicki. Susan's no longer here. I won't crack any jokes. I don't speak ill of the dead, even though Susan certainly curb stomped all my efforts to get truth out over the years. But I'm not bitter about it because you know what? At the end of the day, people are going to make decisions that they want to make, unfortunately. And people out there are going to continue to think that we're all nuts when we talk about these topics, even though we're proven right every single time. And when 23andMe and Ancestry started getting big in 2020 and 2021, I continually warn people, do not send in your DNA. This is a front for the government. They are collecting people's DNA. And some people said, well, they already got your DNA because you went and got a blood test at one point in your life. So it doesn't matter because, of course, they want to say that because they don't want to feel ashamed or stupid that they send it in. And I'm not trying to shame anybody out there who may have done this. But look at these people and understand who they are. And if you feel angry about it, feel anger towards them. Because these actors and these celebrities are the ones who are lying and manipulating people into willingly doing this stuff. And then the government fronts as companies like 23andMe pretend that they file for bankruptcy so they can give all your data to Big Pharma. Yeah, it sounds like a wonderful government that we have, right? They already proved to us how much they care about us, and now they're literally pretty much telling you, hey, because everybody knows that big pharma and the government are one and the same, and now they're taking your DNA and they're holding up the middle finger going, well, you can complain all you want. You're the ones who sent it to us. And people sent it because psychologically they got sucked in by all these lowlifes in Hollywood. So 23andMe, folks, has been bought out by a big pharma company, and they're telling you, don't worry about it. We want to make sure that you could still, find your loved ones or figure out who you're related to. Also, we're doing experiments, with your DNA and editing genetic codes so we can have specific DNA shots for you when we tell you that we're going to cure cancer, but we're really going to turn you into a cyborg. Sounds great, right? Unbelievable. I thank everybody for being here. I hope you're all doing well. Thanks for listening to me rant. Oh, boy. God bless all of you, as always, and your families.